Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we are setting out on a truly wild journey. We're going to decode the hidden frameworks behind some of the world's most ancient traditions. For centuries, the rituals, customs, and daily habits of Hindu culture have been passed down from generation to generation, and they're usually just viewed purely through the lens of spirituality or religion. But what if we looked at them from a totally different angle? What if the architecture of these ancient practices was actually built on early scientific observation? It kind of challenges how we view history, right? Are ancient traditions just superstitions, or are they early science in disguise? It's incredibly easy to dismiss the everyday customs we take for granted as just folklore. But as we unpack the source material today, you might just find out that your ancestors were a whole lot more focused on human physiology, environmental science, and bioengineering than you ever thought possible. Think back to the COVID-19 pandemic. It's fascinating how a massive, modern global event instantly validated a centuries-old practice. Suddenly, the whole world adopted the Indian Namaskar or Namaste greeting. Now, while traditionally seen as a sign of spiritual respect, joining the palms to honor the divine in another person, the source text points out the brilliant, built-in hygiene of it. Joining your hands activates pressure points on your fingertips, sure, but more importantly, it involves absolutely zero physical contact with others. It's a perfect way to stop the transmission of germs. So, here is our roadmap for today. First, we'll bridge spirituality and science. Then, we'll examine the science of temples, dive into daily wellness traditions, explore adornments and health, uncover mindful eating, and finally, look at nature festivals. All right, let's jump straight into Section 1, Bridging Spirituality and Science. To set our baseline, the source text notes, and I quote, "Even though many rituals in Hinduism are considered religious or spiritual, they often have scientifically corroborative rationales." So throughout this explainer, we are going to be looking at these ancient Ayurvedic and architectural claims objectively, exploring exactly how these traditions were formulated to benefit the human body and mind according to the texts. Moving on to Section 2, the science of temples. Okay, so temples weren't just random gathering places, they were highly engineered environments. It's almost like a giant energy grid. The core idol sits in the Garbhagriha, which is positioned at the point of maximum magnetic energy. Copper plates are buried beneath the idol to absorb and radiate this earth energy. And by walking barefoot around it, your body essentially grounds itself, stabilizing your own bioelectrical system. Add in the natural anti-inflammatories in the air, like turmeric and sandalwood, and a simple temple visit literally becomes a full body wellness protocol. And then there's the specific number, 7. You see this pop up everywhere in these traditions. But here, it applies to sound. According to the text, a temple bell is engineered to produce a sharp sound that lasts for a minimum of 7 seconds in an echo mode. This specific duration is said to be precisely long enough to activate the body's healing centers and create a unity between the left and right hemispheres of your brain. It's designed to completely empty your mind of negative thoughts before you even start praying. All right, let's dive into Section 3, Wellness in Daily Traditions. Now, this engineering followed people right into their bedrooms. Take sleeping directions, for example. The cultural myth has always been that sleeping with your head pointing north invites ghosts or even death. But check out the scientific explanation provided by the source material. The Earth is a giant magnet, right? And the human body has its own magnetic field, largely because of the iron in our blood. If you sleep with your head to the north, your body's magnetic field becomes asymmetrical to the Earth's, so your heart has to work way harder, which spikes blood pressure. Even wilder, the iron in your blood begins to congregate in the brain, which the text links to headaches and long-term cognitive decline. It's not about ghosts, it's about gravity and magnetism. And what about when you wake up? There's the tradition of Surya Namaskar, which is paying respects to the sun god early in the morning by offering water. Once again, the text highlights the sheer efficiency of this daily habit. By looking at the early morning sun rays filtered through a stream of poured water, it actually benefits the eyes. Plus, you're outside, absorbing essential vitamin D for strong bones and an immune boost, and the physical movements themselves tone your muscles and improve digestion. It's an ancient spiritual ritual that acts as a highly optimized daily health reset. Next up, Section 4, Adornments and Human Health. So how do traditional adornments and jewelry factor into all this? Well, the placement of different metals on the body is incredibly strict. You'll typically see Indian women wearing gold jewelry on their upper body and silver on their lower body. And the Ayurvedic explanation for this is just fascinating. Silver has a positive reaction to the Earth's polar energy, making it an excellent conductor to absorb that energy from the ground up through anklets and toe rings. Gold, on the other hand, reacts positively to the body's internal energy and aura, making it ideal for the upper body. This brilliantly illustrates how jewelry wasn't just for looking good, it's essentially wearable acupressure. Toe rings, for instance, connect a specific nerve directly to the uterus and heart. Glass bangles create frequencies that actually stimulate a baby's brain cells and boost maternal blood flow. The forehead T-lock targets the mid-brow nerve for focus. And get this, even ear piercing hits exact acupuncture points historically used to treat asthma. That is a real game changer when you think about it. Moving right along to Section 5, Mindful Eating and Digestion. Now, this science also dictated how people consumed their food. You've likely seen the traditional practice of sitting on the floor to eat. Well, it's not just a cultural aesthetic, it is a deliberate anatomical choice. Sitting in the cross-legged Sukhasana yoga posture while eating means your circulatory system doesn't have to pump blood all the way down to legs that are just dangling off a chair. Instead, that blood flow can focus almost entirely on the stomach, drastically aiding the whole digestive process. And the sequence of the food itself? It's equally calculated. A traditional Indian meal dictates starting with spicy food and ending with sweets. Why? Because the spices immediately activate your digestive juices, ensuring your system is completely fired up for the meal. Sweets, conversely, reduce digestive power, so they are strategically saved for the very end to signal the stomach to wind down. Finally, chewing pan, or betel leaves, acts as a rapid digestive aid to neatly finish off the process. Finally, Section 6. Festivals aligned with nature. Zooming out to the macro level, massive community festivals weren't just random dates on a calendar. They were brilliant agrarian tools synced perfectly with seasonal shifts. Holi in the spring coincides right with the blooming of flowers and the harvest season. Makar Sankranti in the summer marks the end of the winter solstice and the crucial harvesting of crops like rice and sugarcane. And Diwali in the autumn, that's a post-harvest celebration where the millions of oil lamps traditionally lit actually served a highly practical purpose, warding off insects and pests from the freshly harvested crops. Also, during the major seasonal transitions, specifically the two Navratri festivals in the rainy season and autumn, there is a massive emphasis on fasting. Modern science talks endlessly today about intermittent fasting and detoxing, right? But this concept was built right into the religious calendar centuries ago. By avoiding heavy foods during these vulnerable seasonal shifts, your digestive system gets a partial rest, flushing out toxic materials and boosting your immune system exactly when your body is most susceptible to falling ill. So what does this all mean? Ultimately, all of this, the hygiene, the architecture, the neurology of sound, the acupressure of jewelry, and the alignment with seasonal crops, points back to one core philosophy highlighted in the source text, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. It's an ancient Sanskrit phrase, meaning the whole world is one single family. It is a beautiful, holistic view that intimately connects human health, communal spaces, and the wider environment into one inseparable breathing system. Which leaves us with a truly fascinating question to ponder. We've seen how our ancestors took acute observations of human biology, astronomy, and agriculture and encoded them deeply into cultural habits to ensure they survived across millennia. So, looking at our world today, what modern scientific discoveries do you think will become the deeply revered traditions of tomorrow? Thank you for joining me on this explainer, and as always, keep questioning the world around you.